Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who do rule well. Salutation to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is Brother Makazal out here in Trinidad. Just want to do another edification for the elect sake. And the name of this lesson would be Indoctrination versus Programming. Alright. And I just want to look up, the word indoctrinate here in the etymology dictionary. It says formerly also indoctrinate in the 1620s to teach, formed as if from Latin, but there seems to be to have been no word indoctriner, perhaps modeled on French indoctriner or extended from earlier, now obsolete verb indoctrine. Indoctrine, all right, to instruct, all right, in doctrine and eight, all right. It says meaning to endue with an idea or opinion, first recorded in 1832. So basically to teach knowledge, right? And basically it comes from the word doctrine. And when you look up the word doctrine, it's from the late 14th century, the body of principles, dogmas, etc. in a religion or field of knowledge, from French doctrine, teaching, doctrine, and directly from Latin doctrina, a teaching, body of teachings, learning from doctor, teacher. All right. So basically, is to be taught. All right. But despite us saying indoctrination versus programming, both are similar and both are different. All right. And really and truly, we just have to know whether we are being indoctrinated the correct way or the wrong way, or programmed the right way or the wrong way. Because when you go in the dictionary on Google and look up the word indoctrinate, all right, it says past tense indoctrinated, past participle indoctrinated, right? It says teach a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. So basically, to be indoctrinated means that, all right, I teaching you this and you're gonna believe what I'm telling you without questions, without any form of skepticism or whatever the case is. Like in school, they teach you, hey, Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas, and you go with that. All right, no problem. The dish one away with the spoon, the cow jump over the moon. Okay, no problem. We run with that. All right. Where is the thought that the natives over here, they were savages? Yeah, we run with that. All right. And Cristobal Colon, he came over here and he civilized them. Yeah, we run with that. We run with all the teachings or dogmas that were placed on us when went into church. His name is Jesus. His father's name is God. They're white. He loves everybody. We run with that. The people over there in the Middle East, they are the Lord's chosen people. We are Africans. We were savages. They brought us here and civilized us. We run with that. All right? That is being indoctrinated and also being programmed. But now, under the apostles of Great Millstone, we are being indoctrinated and programmed and reprogrammed the right way. All right? Because when it come down here, this is the catch part. It says, which word is similar to indoctrinate? And they have brainwash or braise. Right? Now, I already did it, but I'm just going to press just to show you that in being indoctrinated is also being brainwashed. All right? So I'm going to press braise. And it says wrong. Because why? Because it's to be basically it's the brainwash. All right? Brainwash is the correct answer. To which word is similar to being indoctrinated, to be brainwashed. And as I said, you could be brainwashed the wrong way and you could be brainwashed the right way, because the scripture says to renew with the washing of the word. So we were brainwashed when we came into this truth, and we were also brainwashed in the world. All right? We were washed with filthy water in the world, and we were washed with the clean water of life, the proper teachings when we came into this truth. So You have to know whether you are being indoctrinated or programmed the proper way. All right? When I look up the word program, it says what? Well, all these on top is now what I'm looking at. But when you come down here, it says to cause a person or animal to behave in a predetermined way. All right? To cause them to behave in a predetermined way. And they show, for example, all members of a species are programmed to build nests in the same way. So the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai, he programmed birds to build nests a particular way. He programmed babies when they come out to suck breasts, to desire the milk. He programmed men to desire women. He programmed women to desire men. You know, he programmed his natural order. So there's righteous programming and there's unrighteous programming. There's righteous indoctrination and there's unrighteous indoctrination. All right? And you just have to know whether you being, programmed or indoctrinated the right way. All right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 14. It says, the wise man's eyes are in his head. The wise man's eyes are in his head. You understand? So he observant. He not just gonna fall for anything. Somebody say, you walking on a narrow road, all right? And there's a cliff on one side, and on the other side there's wild beasts ready to tear you up if you fall. All right, and as the scripture says, a deep water and a fire, but you being led by somebody, and this person said, you know what, hey, just turn right or turn left, and then when you turn right or turn left, you step off into certain death. You understand? But when your eyes in your head, you see the danger and you go it well, and it said, as the scripture says, you go well till you go in. It's roughly paraphrasing. It says, the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceive also that one event happened to them all. So you can't walk in darkness. You can't just be gullible with everything that being taught to you. Just like in school when we were children, we were just gullible. You understand? And we see it happening in these other camps. You see it happening in IUIC, we see it happening in GOCC, and that is why a lot of times when, after being indoctrinated and programmed on the left-hand side, when their eyes open, they realize, we've been taught wrong. And then they leave, they get disenchanted and they leave, they get all disgruntled, and that is why they do videos, why we left Hebrew Israelites, and guess what, that was only one camp. You understand? That is why the scripture says, blessed is he that readeth. If you read for yourself, you would have been able to see that, guess what, you are being misled. You read, you do your own research, and don't just depend on somebody to spoon feed you. As the scripture said in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2, same thing that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, that they may be able to teach others also. You come in here to learn how to teach so that you can teach. You're not coming here just to be spoon-fed like a baby. You're growing in this thing. All right? You came here to grow. This is Acts 17 and 11. It says, these were more noble than those of Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind. Yeah, they received the word with all readiness. They were happy. When they heard the word, yeah, they believe it. Yes, Yahweh Shemi Shai, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the 12 tribes, all right? Esau, so-called white man, nuclear war, all right? Yahweh Shemi Shai coming in the chariot, so-called UFOs. Yeah, they believed. But guess what? They also went to prove those things. The micro C-HIP is the MOTB. They went to prove those things to see whether it is true or not, instead of just believing. All right. Even with the apostles, the men, when we receive this word, it sounds good, but we also have to be able to prove it. We can't just go out there and say that, all right, this is so because this is what the apostles taught me. Nah. We're doing Yahaba Shimon Shai's work that was instructed through the apostles. So therefore, we come here to learn to teach so that we could teach. So when we learn from the apostles, we also learn and add to what what they taught us, so that when we go out, we could confidently and boldly say, well, this is the proper breakdown. Yes, we were taught by the apostles, but we are certain this is the proper breakdown. All right, and not just going out there being monkeys or being, parrots, but being serpents and dragons and owls in this thing, in this truth of ours, as Apostle Gabar always says. It says, these were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so. So they searched the scriptures to make sure what Paul telling them was in fact there in the scriptures. So they believed, but then when it happened, when they see it, it's like, hey, you know what? Yes, he right. It's here. You know what he said? It sounds good. You understand? But it's here, so it's true. It's factual, and that is being noble. That is being noble. All right. That is being indoctrinated and programmed the right way. All right. This is the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 27. It says, lo, this, we have searched it, so it is. Hear it, and no doubt it for thy good. So not only did, when the apostles were taught by their teachers, they also searched it. Hence the reason when, because of the nobleness of the apostles, we know the proper breakdown of Cornelius. Because it was once taught that Cornelius was not an Israelite. But because of the nobleness of the apostles, we now know that Cornelius is in fact an Israelite. Understand? Because of the nobleness of the apostles, we know that the other that Israel don't necessarily have to look dark skinned. All right? Because why? They search these things out. And that is the same mindset that we have to have as men of the Lord, as righteous men of the Lord, that we be properly instructed, that we be programmed and indoctrinated correctly and not incorrectly. All right? Not going out there teaching that embargo is the mark of the beast. Not going out there and teaching that all nations could be saved. Not going out there and teaching that the Gentiles could make it into the kingdom. Not going out there and teaching that Esau is so-called black man with red hair. All right? Not going out there and teaching that the Lord's name is Ahaya and Yeshaya just because of one scripture says Ahaya, Asherah, Ahaya. All right? And you believe that you being programmed and you just being spoon-fed and you're not searching things out for yourself. That is being lazy and that is being complacent. And that what happens to you when you have no nobleness, no nobility in you, and you just very lax. That's what happened to you. You be easily, overthrown. You be easily, basically turned into a child of death. All right. Reading over, it says, Job 5:27, it says, lo, this, hear this, we have searched it, so it is. We have searched it, and sure, this is the breakdown. Hear it, and no doubt it for thy good. All right, know it for thy good. All right, because is the truth, is the correct breakdown. All right, is the correct breakdown. It is the correct breakdown, and through the apostles, we show that what we've been taught is the truth through the spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. All right. Let me look up this here real quick. I'm gonna read it first. This says Job 34 and verse 3. It says, for the ear tried words as the mouth tasted meat, The ear trieth words as the mouth tasteth meat. Now, let's say you're going to eat something for the first time. You don't know what it is. All right? You know, you go in a restaurant and they say, well, try this. You don't know what it is. You never heard of it before. You know, probably in some foreign land, and they say, all right, you know what it is. And they say, nice, good to eat. And then you go, you're not going to just gobble it down. You might just take a bit, put it in your mouth, and you chew it, get the taste for a bit, you know, if it's bitter, if it's sour, if it's sweet, if it's spicy, you know. And then it's like, if it tastes good, then you swallow it down. But if it don't taste good, you're going to spit it out. All right? So just like you will try things for the first time to know if it's good before you swallow it, the same thing with your ear. When you hear something for the first time, you don't just, all right, food, gobble down. Nah, you know, if it comes from a reliable source, you know, you say, all right, cool, you hear it, you trust it enough to put it in your mouth. All right? Because you could be at the point where you don't trust it enough to put the food in your mouth. You say, nah, I don't want that. I don't trust it. So you don't put it in your mouth. And when you hear something, you know, you can say, all right, you know, I trust you enough to put this new doctrine in my mouth. But then you chew it up. And then if it's good, then you swallow it down. And that is you going through the scriptures to make sure that those things are so. So it says, the ear trieth words as the mouth tasted food. All right? When you look up the word trieth, comes from the Hebrew word bakan. It says what? To examine. Try, prove. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, it says, prove all things, hold fast to that which is good. And when you look up the word prove, it means what? To examine, try, or test. Prove all things, try them out, prove them, make sure, examine it. And hold fast to that which is good. So that which is good, swallow it up. That's basically the scripture saying. Don't be indoctrinated or programmed on the left-hand side. Don't be wickedly indoctrinated. Don't just swallow down something because somebody says it. That is why the world in the state that it is right now, because of wicked indoctrination, as the scripture says, teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. All right? It says to examine, scrutinize, to test, prove, try, of gold, person, the heart, man of God. Yeah, so even the man of God, you try them. You understand? And when you realize it is a reliable source, then you can put more trust in them. Understand? And we show that these men are the men of the Lord. Apostle Taha, Apostle Gaba, Apostle Ka, Apostle Aramlab, all the way down. We show these are reliable men. All right? This is Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 14. It says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. You see that happening. IUIC, you see all these other camps. And carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men, as they say, the sleight of hand, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. They come up with doctrines and it sounds so good. And you just sit there and believe it and not go precept upon precept. Somebody can bring out one precept and make a doctrine off of it. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 other precepts saying otherwise. The Gentiles can make it. But a whole bevy of scriptures say no. And then when you dig and when you go into the lexicon and you go into the Greek and the Hebrew of these words, you realize that the Gentiles, not talking about the other nations, but talking about Israelite foreigners. And that is why the scripture says the wise man's eyes are in his head. As long as your eyes are in your head, you will no more be henceforth tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. All right? This is Ephesians chapter 4 and 14. All right. I want to look up the word sleight. It says what? Dice playing, metaphor, the deception of men, because dice players sometimes cheated and defrauded their fellow players. So yeah, the sleight of hand. So they give you a quick one. You know, they talk real, confident, well spoken. They put words together good. and the power veil over your eyes, and you not realizing that you being deceived. You just, yeah, there's a good teacher, he's speaking real eloquently, you bringing out precepts, he could bring out all sorts of precepts, but when you really check it, none of them make sense. None of them make sense. And really and truly, he just working on the left hand side for the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to separate the goat from the sheep. That is basically what's going on. And for really and truly, all at the end of the day, it all boils down to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Whether the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai wants you to be indoctrinated properly, or he wants you to be indoctrinated wickedly, so that you could be destroyed. So at the end of the day, is you have to pray and beg Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to be led to the proper breakdowns. And you ain't gonna get no other breakdowns than from the men of Great Millstone. Alright? This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 13. It says, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So even themselves being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. Job 5:27, we have searched it and it is so. Alright? Continue thou in the things that thou hast learned, and be assured of, and as thou hast been assured of, knowing whom thou hast learned them. So you have to know who you're learning the truth from, and continue in the truth. When you learn the truth, you stumble across the truth, continue in them. Alright? So with that, I hope it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. Salutation to the men of the hopeful and saints elect. This is your brother Marcus out here in Trinidad saying shalom and stay strong. Shalom.